Jonathan, we're live.
What? Oh. I gotta stop.
Okay, can we start now?
As soon as I can see, I'm a little dizzy here. Oh, hi everyone.
Hey guys, welcome to... Welcome.
Why is there two of you?
Because you've been spinning around. You have been spinning around. I want to check Facebook and see. Because Facebook... Oops, that's Anchor.
No, I know. It takes like...
Yeah, it takes a long time for
Sometimes
Facebook to
it
start.
takes 10 or 15 minutes. I've gotten a notification Mohawk Valley Church is live, and it's already been on for 15 minutes, and I get the end of it. So...
Super annoying.
We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know why Facebook does that. That's why we're starting to do so much more stuff with YouTube. Because YouTube actually works. So...
Sometimes.
Oh,
Yep,
there we are.
We are.
We're streaming. Or we're on Facebook too?
There, yes.
Nice. All right, guys, welcome to the show. We don't even have a name for it anymore. We've made so many changes. But welcome, guys. I know. Okay, so I know this has to be confusing because last week we recorded at 10 o'clock, and then today we're recording. We went live at like 7:04. So we've been all over the place, right? But we're gonna standardize this, right? That's what we decided to announce. Like we're gonna standardize this. We've been back and forth. So first, Brandy and I were doing a Monday night live stream, and then Jonathan and I were doing every morning, and that was a podcast. And then you guys were like, a few of you who listened to it were like, I wish it was live. All the other stuff you're doing with the church is live. I wish you guys did it live and there could be interaction. We're like, yeah, that'd be cool. We had it on our to-do list eventually. So we're like, okay, let's do it live. We did the Friday night thing. We're like, let's call it Friday Night Live. We did like at 10 o'clock. And so we're like, let's try this. And so we're trying to figure out what's going to be the best for everyone. So what we've come up with, whether it's the best or not, it's just what we decided on.
We don't know.
We're going to go back to what Brandy and I were doing, the Monday night schedule.
Okay,
so
it was Monday. We talked Monday or Tuesday, so it is Monday.
Yeah, I think we'll just stick with it because so we're gonna do the Monday nights at 7 because then that puts us. This show's 70 minutes. Well, not tonight. Tonight's gonna be however long we do it. So it's gonna be 70. It's a 70-minute show. Is what we've been doing for like about a month now, right?
Yeah.
At least 3 weeks. I think it's been about a month. Because when we started, it was just whatever, and then we're like, let's standardize it. So it's a 70-minute show. We program for 70 minutes. Like I said, tonight's is gonna be 30, 45, and I don't know. We'll figure it out. And it'll be Mondays at 7, and it will go to...
it was going to be at 10. Now it's going to be at 7.
Oh, no, you're right. 10.
10, yeah.
Sorry, 10.
10 p.m.
10 p.m.
So
Monday nights...
changing a lot. It's even different than you just told me 2 minutes ago.
Sorry. Monday nights at 10. That's right. It was a separate point I was making because this conversation has changed a few times. I'm going to leave this open so we can see
live.
comments.
Look at that. Mohawk Valley students.
Why does it still say
now.
test? I got to...
It usually says test.
Yeah, I got it's got to be a setting or something I can change. Okay, so...
But us, we're always testing stuff. We're always changing stuff. So I guess test is pretty accurate for what we're doing right now.
All right, so this is the plan for the foreseeable future is we're going to go Monday nights at 10. So it'll go to 11:10.
Not a.m.
Yeah, 10 p.m. And some of you may be thinking, oh, wait, but that's kind of late. I'm in bed by then. I'm not going to be able to watch it.
But I'm out of work, and you can't have a show with me in it if I'm working, so it's got to be 10 o'clock.
Well, I was going to get a puppet, and I was going to have like a little...
and you were going to name him Jonathan.
Yeah, I was going to have like a little Jonathan dummy.
Oh,
yeah.
So that's why you posted on Facebook and said, does anyone
yeah, it's going to have a puppet. I got to replace this Jonathan guy. I need a puppet. I was going to be like...
I don't know if
But hey, Jonathan, that's so creepy if you think about it.
I don't know if I'm honored that you want to replace me with a puppet and therefore I'm irreplaceable, or if the fact that you can replace me with a puppet, I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm honored or...
appalled.
Yes.
Honestly, the way I described it sounds a little serial killer-ish. So let's just walk away from that.
So a clown or anything like that.
Yeah. So we're gonna do 10 o'clock, and the reason is if you're thinking that's too late for me, it's okay because this show, the main place where we want to air the show is gonna be Sunday nights. Sunday evenings at 6 p.m. but we need to pre-record it. And the only reason we're doing it live at all rather than pre-recording the entire thing is because we like the studio audience interaction.
We want you guys to comment.
Yeah, we even want to bring you guys on. So like nights that we do it where we're together like this, we could then bring one of you guys on as a special guest if he's not using that guest slot. So there's a lot more we can do. So we do it at 10 o'clock. One, like he mentioned, it just works with our schedules. He is an essential worker, and he does have like a lot of hours he has to work. So he can do it with his schedule. It's late enough where it's not going to interfere with most things. Like it's very rare that something is going to happen on a Monday night at the church where we have to do something. So it frees us up to do all that. It doesn't overlap with MV Church Talk because we can't do overlap that time.
Can't do it at 8:30.
So it works for all that stuff. But then, and so it lets us have you guys as an interactive audience, but it also keeps it from like everyone seeing it. So that way, like it's a handful of you who want to stay up to 10 or are allowed to stay up to 10 and can jump on the show and be in it. But then when we premiere on Sunday at 6, the rest of you can do it as the live premiere, and then we'll still be there commenting, interacting and stuff. So you don't have to worry about that. Hey, you guys want to jump on really quick and say hi?
Yeah. We got some intruders.
We have some intruders. Guests. We've got what do you guys call it? The Kid Squad or what? What are you guys?
I like it.
We got Kid Squad. I just named them. They're coming.
He's been sleeping here. This guy.
That camera up there.
He's been sleeping here. He's got a pillow and a blanket.
Cody,
he's sleeping here
the
all
kids.
day.
Okay, so this is I call them Kid Squad because they're doing kid stuff. They've been here working on your Sunday video, right?
Yeah, working on a video for Sunday.
Okay, and what today's first? So that means I'm getting
Crystal,
it late.
you gotta come in more. We can't see you over there.
I'm gonna get it late. Because you normally do them on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Hey y'all.
There she is.
Don't mind the pigtails. What up?
So they're here working hard, working on that. So you guys taking off?
Yeah, I'm not. They are.
Okay.
But
all right. Well,
appreciate you all.
Yeah,
it's obvious, they don't want to hang out with us, but we're just
live on Facebook and YouTube. And this is our little youth show. Who's what? Maddie's watching and someone else.
Maddie, I drove by you driving yesterday.
That's terrifying.
And I was going to say that. You're way too, you're like still like 12 in my mind, so you shouldn't be driving. Yeah, don't get behind the wheel. But maybe Pastor Jared wants to buy you a car, though, with his stimulus check. I don't know.
What?
That was random.
I'm watching live.
You're watching live. Awesome. You can watch yourself. Because there's a little bit of a delay. So if you guys haven't seen their stuff, they're right after on Sundays. So this whole thing that's why we're kind of really focusing our show is for our Sunday premiere as well. And so that kind of ties in. It was actually perfect timing because it ties into what we're talking about. So there are going to be, if you don't normally watch the service on Sunday, there's going to be some announcements. I can't say what because they're not necessarily mine announcements to make. There's going to be some announcements during the post show. But we are programming this show for Sunday nights at 6. We did it last week. We recorded on Friday night. And then I went back. I made a couple of those edits that I talked about. And then I premiered it at 6 o'clock. And then we were there interacting with all of you guys. Oh, hey, your sister says hi. I just saw that. Okay.
Hi, sister. Which one?
It was Rebecca.
Oh, Rebecca. Okay, I was going to say which one. I always say my sister, and people are like, which one? I'm like, yeah, that's a very valid point. I have 2.
Yeah, I have 13, so I don't. I have 2.
I was gonna say I haven't even met one of your sisters, let alone.
No, they both live in Sacramento, so you're probably, unless they come and visit, you probably.
When we go to California sometime, stay there for.
Sacramento is not around any if we went to anyways, so we won't get on the Disneyland thing again because we did that forever last time. So yeah, the whole idea of that's kind of the thing. So if you're thinking I can't do it, it's fine, but if you can, this show is going to be broken up into segments. And so that's something we've been working on for the last month with the podcast when it was MVS Daily MVS.
Yeah, I'm not the only one who. That's why we had to change it because it was never the same.
Confusing.
It was never the same. Was it Daily MVS? Was it MVS Daily?
It was Daily MVS.
No, was it?
It was Daily MVS.
It was
because it was like
MVS.
I copied Daily V is what I had said last episode. So we have been working on the whole segment thing.
But the other one was MVS Soap.
Yes,
so that's why we're getting them confused
because they were
MVS
too
first.
Similar. Yeah. And so we are going to have different segments. So we'll go live and we'll have pre-recorded segments. So we talked about last week about having stuff from you guys. some of you guys sent some stuff in. First off, I need to say we are pushing the Esther episode. Wait for the booze. Just let it sit there for a second. Okay, see if there's any booze in the comments. For a couple reasons. Really, it's actually really just a quality reason. Because we made the mistake of not really giving you guys a deadline of when to turn stuff in. And so a lot of you guys were like turning stuff in like right before we're going live. And that happened last week too. So remember how like I couldn't get the song on there? I had to just stream it and then cut it in later.
Right, yep.
And so the same thing happened this week. I had a few of you messaging like, what time do we need to send it by? And then some people still haven't sent stuff in because like we just never told them when we needed it in by. And so they were thinking, oh, as long as I get it before, they go live at 10 o'clock. And then we went, at 7 tonight. So one is so we can set that up and we can give a better, we want to be able to get all that from you guys, and we're going to set up, we'll come out with a video, we'll probably record it and post it with here's how to do it, here's best tips, here's how to record, here's how to this, just so they have an idea of how to send stuff in the best, so we don't have sideways rappers and stuff like that. She did send hers in and she sent it in the right way. So
you were literally talking about one particular person when you said that.
Yeah, because Maddie's was sideways, and so she was all sideways. It was weird, and I couldn't fix it. And I felt bad, and I'm sure she didn't like being sideways. So this week though, she did record it, so that way it would be
she
normal.
did it right. Good job, Maddie. You did it right this time.
Yeah. So when you send stuff in, please. I know that it's most common to do this, but when you're sending stuff in, please do this because we are doing not that was crooked because we are doing broadcast format.
You want to do this, and you do not want to do this because you don't want to be upside down either.
Yeah, true. So the other thing is Jonathan's going to kind of step up on the producer side, and so the easiest thing is you create whatever you create, your song, your Lego creation, all the stuff we talked about last week, and then you send it in. If you can, I didn't talk about this. I was going to have him email your work email. Does that work? Nope.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That's
so
probably
email,
the best place so it doesn't get lost.
Yes. Jonathan plus you don't want stalkers to a personal email. If it's a work email, it's not that big of a deal.
Facebook Live. Here's my personal email and text.
And address and cell. Yeah, everything. So
what salary they're gonna go with? That's it. Oh, never mind.
It's gonna be not salary. Cell cell number.
Cell. I heard salary. I'm
not salary.
Give out my social security number and date of birth while you're at it.
So you can send it to it's Jonathan at mohawkvalley.church, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Just make sure you spell my name right, please, because then I will not
for
only get it, but it hurts my feelings when you spell my name wrong, because hardly anybody can spell it right.
Spell for him then.
Jonathan, not O-N. And no H after the first N.
So complicated.
Jonathan. Jonathan at mohawkvalley.church.
There you go. So you can send. That's the easiest way. I guess you could. That's and we need it to be because we have everyone sending it to us a different way, and it's getting very hard to try to gather everything. So some people are sending them to us on Facebook, and then there's privacy restrictions, and so depending on how it's sent, maybe we can download it, maybe we can't. Some people are text messaging them, and then some people are emailing them, and so if we can just kind of standardize it, will be just make it a little bit easier. So send them to Jonathan. He'll download the videos. He'll edit them. He'll do that whole thing. If for some reason it's too big to email, it goes pretty big now. But if for some reason it's too big to email, just message him and we'll send
send them on Slack, because yesterday the messages I tried to
they're not
send
on Slack.
You, I guess some of them are, some of them are not. If you are,
if you're one of the leaders, but
I tried sending you some stuff over email that said it was too big, and then it sent through Slack.
Yeah, and there's other services. So if for some reason it's a bigger file, he can walk you through how to do that. But in general, just email them to him, and that's going to be the best way to get them. And so we get everything in there. We also need a deadline, but we didn't talk about that part. So we'll let you know when to have them in by, so you're safe. So you know that okay, by this date, turn everything in.
I mean, I would feel like Friday night probably. Because we have to have time to download them, look through them, edit them if we need to.
Yeah,
and
some of the stuff
on Monday night, we definitely need them by Monday morning. So Not that we have much time on Saturdays and Sundays right now with all the editing that we've been doing or you've been doing.
Well, that's why you're taking on this over.
You're going to get me involved in.
So, yeah, that'll work. Yeah, so if we just say Fridays, yeah, these chairs are very spinny, and I find myself, like, spinning around too much.
It is pretty fun.
So if you can send it in, email it to Jonathan, send it in. If you have any questions, let us know. You could email Jonathan. You could message one of us. It's fine. So with that said, we didn't want to. There's a few people who were doing some stuff that we didn't want to miss out on. So we appreciate you understanding. So we'll do that. We're gonna do the Esther theme. And if you were like, hey, I want to do something, I didn't have time. Like I know, like my daughter was wanting to do something, and I think she just kind of lost track of time. I don't know about. I'm sure you guys all relate to this, but she has no clue what day it is.
No.
She never knows what day because she's at home all day every day. Used to, she clocked it by I have church on Sundays,
right?
And I have youth. I have drama on Wednesdays, youth on Thursdays, church on Sundays. She kind of kept track of the time, but now she's like, I don't even know when it is.
Yeah, Saturday was the start. I mean, Sunday. No, yeah, it was like we had church on Sunday, and then I would go to work, and I'd be like, okay, and then by Wednesday or Thursday, I have one of the 2 days off, and I have to be at church in the evening, and I just never know. You just never know anymore.
No, I know it's crazy, which is why we've been struggling with all the changes and everything. But we think we've finalized it and kind of narrowed it down.
We'll help you guys know what day of the week it is because when we're live, it's gonna be Monday at 10 p.m.
Yeah, so they'll know for sure. Like, hey, you can set your clock to that.
We solved the problem.
And then again on Sunday at 6 p.m. So depending on which one they watch. So speaking of the whole like having some of you as live audience. So some of the segments, I want to go over some of the segments that we have. So we have, obviously you guys know the soap the segment that we've been doing because that's beautiful one that's been, yeah, it is a nice Bible. You guys like that? A fan sent it in.
You did?
No, I'm just kidding.
Your biggest fan, yes.
So we've been doing the soap segment. We're gonna keep that. We may swap it out for a different type of thing. Brandy's gonna be doing a segment to where whatever the topic is for the week, she's gonna pre-record like a 3 to 5 minute little like devotional thing on it or lesson. Well, I don't know what she's gonna do to be honest, but she's gonna do something with the theme.
She's gonna have a weekly segment. Creative. That's all I know. That's what Brandy does is super creative.
Maybe I don't know. She'll come up with something cool. We're going to have the Intern Jeff segment, not every week, but these are all segments that aren't necessarily going to be there every week, but we'll have as our ingredients for each week's episode.
And that's the segment, for those of you who don't know, where he says, Jonathan, you thought that you did something foolish? Well, let me tell you.
No, that is not what it is. They're funny stories.
It always makes me feel better about myself.
No, because I'm going to have to start adding some of the things I did as well. So actually, honestly, we were crazy this year. Even my pastor. I have to start so you realize it wasn't just Jeff. And I love Jeff. Jeff is a huge family friend. It's just, the whole Intern Jeff thing is there's some really funny stories from this church, but at the same time, it goes in a lot of reasons. It was the first church where Brandy wasn't really there as like co-youth pastor because she was pregnant with Judah, and so she couldn't really be as involved. And there was a few different factors. So it was like I was 25 when I moved up there, but quickly turned 26. Jeff was like 19, and we had almost no supervision, basically. Like Brandy wasn't reining me in on stuff. The pastor and the board, like after, Brandy like they weren't really watching
the stuff that you did. Oh,
she knows most of it. She knows. This is the church where I got in the fight with the drug dealer. This is where we built the skate park. This is where we were like got invited onto like city council stuff meetings. Then at some point the city tried to turn over a bunch of money to build this. This is where like most of my crazy stories, like almost all my crazy stories come. So it's not just like Intern Jeff stuff. Like I'm just making it because like the students in the past have always enjoyed Intern Jeff stories. I can't even tell all of them actually because we had a crazy youth group as well. My favorite Intern Jeff story, or second favorite Intern Jeff story, I can't tell. My favorite one is the one I'll tell on Monday. It's the Taco Bell story that I've promised to tell. So the Intern Jeff, and eventually that's going to run out, to be honest. We'll have to replace that one, or I'll make stuff up.
And then we know who's going to start telling stories.
No, I have to. I can't until I leave. So like that's going to be forever. But I'll never run out of those stories.
And not only that, but I already told you that you can't get away from me, so you're never going to be able to tell those
I don't
stories.
Recognize the state's restraining order. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding because that was creepy. You're like, I'm going to follow you. Anyways, so what am I trying Okay, so segments. We're gonna have a wordy segment. So you guys have probably or may not have seen. We did a wordy episode where we only got one out before this whole thing happened, and the whole idea is to do like a. Hey, my aunt is watching. Yeah, hey Tina. I don't really call her that because she's my aunt, but
you should have put an aunt before that. I mean,
a what?
An aunt. I mean, you don't call your aunt by the first name. It's kind of disrespectful.
I know, that's what I was saying, because her name literally says Tina Falcone. For those watching, I don't know what I call her. I haven't really been around. Hey, I don't know. But anyways, hey. So we'll have the wordy, which we want to start bringing you on. So we will air the Burger King episode. Probably coming up.
One wordy episode
that we didn't get to do. It was the Impossible Whopper. That was the very first. It wasn't even a wordy originally. It was just going to be an illustration for youth, but then youth got shut down. So now it's going to be.
Because we did that before the hot sauce challenge.
Yeah, it was one of the first things we did. There's going to be, but with wordy, we want to bring you guys on. So the whole idea is we'll take turns defending our title, and then we'll bring one of you on to go against us. And if we win, we win. We keep the title. We keep our honor. If they win, they're going to get a gift card. We'll mail it to them. And then once.
Wait, so if we win, I get to keep the gift card?
No. Nope. It's house money. Like we're just the employees.
We'll just use it for next time.
We'll just use it for the next time. And so what we'll do is we'll have different games. So for Monday, what I want to do is I want to do a meme challenge. And so it's going to be you. I haven't told them about this yet. So you're going to have to come up with the three best memes you can find. And then they're going to come up.
My favorite meme of all time.
Okay, but you need two more. And then we're going to get one of you. So if you want to do this, message us. They're going to come on as a guest. We'll give them the invite code. And then they'll come on as a guest and we'll do the meme challenge. Teresa just reminded me that they have the kids. I'm messing up with my words now because I'm thinking of Cody, and I was going to say kids' church. But the daycare, they have challenged us to do part 2 of the hot sauce challenge because they don't think the hot sauce we used.
Daycare. Okay.
Yes. Remember Kim and Teresa were talking to me? They don't think that the hot sauce that we used was hot enough.
Challenge
and so they're going to let us borrow some real hot sauce. And we're going to redo the hot sauce challenge. And I've been assured that we will both probably cry this time. That there's some like legit hot sauce in there. So that's going to be.
I see myself with tears streaming down my face and my face beat red.
Yes. So the whole idea of Wordy is to bring you guys on. Like it's going to be like almost a game show thing. So that's going to be a segment that we'll have in there. Not every single week, but a lot. So yeah, we have the hot sauce one coming up, which obviously you guys can't really join that one for 1, technical reasons, and 2, legal reasons.
We'll send a bottle to someone and say if you can.
Like
video yourself doing it.
Actually, yeah, when we do it, you guys can send in submissions of you with your own hot sauces if you want. It's fine.
No, we need to put this warning: do not try this at home.
Get your parents' permission. Okay, so Wordy, that's one segment. Another one is going to be First Encounter, which on Monday, I won't have one for Monday, but I will play an old one on Monday so you guys get an idea. And it basically is this thing I used to do back at the same where intern Jeff was, where I had this show called First Encounter. And so now it's not going to be a show, it's going to be a segment. But it was all these segments used to be shows I used to do back in Paradise, California. So, and now we're just bringing them on as segments instead of separate shows to make this the uber awesome show. So First Encounter was very internet based, like where there was a show called Film Riot, and they would teach film stuff, and just there's this internet style developed of standing up in front of the camera and talking and kind of being funny and sarcastic, and then like intercutting in clips or pictures to like be the punchline or whatever. There's a specific way of doing it. And so I created a show around that where I was like, hey, if they can do this to teach filmmaking and teach or tell news stuff and all these other things, I can do this to teach the Bible. And so I take Bible stories and I tell them in this kind of like cross between like stand-up comedy and like just this current style of like internet stuff. Yeah. And so I'll play at least, probably not a whole thing, but part of it. And it was a lot of experimenting with all kinds of graphics. I was doing some 3D stuff, but the actual part of me in front of the green screen telling the story, that's the part I'm going to bring back. So that'll be a few times a month. I already talked about Brandy's. What else? Segment wise, soap, that'll be almost every time unless we have a good different version, like a different thing to replace it. So like we'll have like
we used to have a different version. Now we both got the same one.
not that kind of version. I mean, thanks. Rachel is watching. She said hi, and she said she likes the set. I'm borrowing this. This is a combination of a few things actually, but we've been doing a lot of recording at the church, and we had this set up, and I just kind of grabbed the curtain and this table.
You grabbed it all by yourself.
Well, it was already here. I just kind of set it up really quick.
We moved it together. I'm just kidding.
Oh, you're talking about the other one?
We
You that desperate for attention? Jonathan, you are loved and appreciated, okay? All right, there we go. There's some attention. That's, the 6 feet apart. We're a split screen here. Like he's at home on his webcam.
That line right about there?
We can't cross. We can't cross. We're
we just crossed. Yeah, I'm over on this side.
Yeah, and I'm on this side. And then like I have my webcam and he has his webcam, and we've just stitched them together with the virtual background like in Zoom, right? Yeah, that seems totally believable, especially after I just patted you on the back and you could hear me actually patting you.
Reach through like the virtual.
Anyways, we're close enough to being 6 feet apart. Let's see, what else was I gonna say? I think that's it for the segment. And we'll create new segments, ones that, like example, like the intern Jeff eventually will die off because there'll be no more stories to tell, and then we'll come up with some new segments. There'll be all kinds of different segments and whatnot. And so the whole idea is we'll go live. It'll be a combination of us live, your guys's or all the different segments, and then your guys's content. So it'll be a combination of those three things. We'll go live on Monday night at 10 p.m. Some of you can jump on and be live with us and interact with us, come on for challenges and stuff like that. And then it'll get tidied up and then repackaged and aired on Sundays on the church channel, no less, at 6 p.m. So does that all make sense? I think we can move on, right?
I think we can move on.
Okay, cool. All right, so what was our... Oh, news roundup. So something when we do the morning podcast... what we did is we'd have a news roundup where we'd have different news stories to talk about. We only have one today because we're trying to make sure there's enough time. That'll be another segment. We won't do it every week, but sometimes we'll do a news roundup. So tonight's is interesting, and I'd love to hear from you guys. Now, we're kind of doing two things you're not supposed to do with this next segment. We're combining politics and religion. You're not supposed to talk about either one, and we're about to talk about both. Well, I don't even mean that. I'm just, they say like when you do stuff, like stay away from, those are the two topics, stay away from politics and stay away from religion. We're about ready to talk about both, but it's because of the news segment today. So you're the one who sent this to me earlier today, so why don't you start off by saying whatever. Well, actually, it's a clip. We could probably just play the clip.
I was going to say, I can pull it up on my phone. And basically, it's that the New York Governor Cuomo, as you were asking me how it's pronounced, I found out I've been saying it wrong. It's Cuomo.
You're a resident. You should know. That's like
I should know, but I didn't know until recently. However, I don't know. But he said about the COVID-19 numbers decreasing. Basically, I'm trying to find it, and they're trying to get me to sign up for their...
That's fine. You don't have to play
No thanks. He said that it was not, the numbers decreasing was not because of anything that God did.
Or fate. He threw in a few kind of generic things after God.
He said it was because of us and our suffering.
Yeah, he's taking credit for it, basically.
Right, basically.
And what's funny is, so I saw this a few days ago, and my first thought was... So I was tracking it when we first started doing the news segment. I was really, we both were paying attention to the news. I'm not normally a news person, but we were for the podcast. And I remember like first they were saying like, oh, like over 2 million people in America. We talked about this in an episode, and then it dropped down to like 200,000. Then it's like 100,000.
So you want to know his exact quote?
1 second. You do it 1 second. So I remember thinking like, wow, that's literally has to be a result of prayer. Like I know we are doing things to like curb stuff and all that kind of stuff. But to me, like I remember just feeling like the impression of like, wow, like this thing was announced, like 200 or 2 million, over 2 million Americans are predicted to die because of this. And the churches and the church, capital C, started praying and started interceding. And now we're like, the number dropped way down. And it was obviously I'm not the only one who had that thought. And apparently people were posting it on the internet because our governor didn't like that. He got very offended.
And what's weird is he's actually a Catholic. That's what the article says. He's a Catholic, so...
You mean raised Catholic? Because he doesn't sound very Catholic right now.
It says, this is from the Christian Post.
Okay.
But it says he is a Catholic Democrat. He said God did not do that. Faith did not do that. Destiny did not do that. A lot of pain and suffering did that. And then he said that the data of it going down is a direct result of what we do. That if we do something stupid, the numbers will go right back up tomorrow. That's what he said. So,
well, good luck with that, Governor, taking all the credit and saying God had nothing to do with it. At least he didn't say God doesn't exist, but I don't know. I wouldn't want to be the one trying to take credit for that and saying, God had nothing to do with this. So, anyways, that was just our little news thing. Really, we don't want to go too much into it, but the thing that when the person who shared it for me, they are not like that I saw, they quoted the verse talking about like a fool says in his heart there is no God, and I was like, to me it was just this, I don't know, it kind of struck me. So when you sent it to me again today, I was like, yeah, let's talk about that. Let's just bring it up really quick. But let's jump back in now to, oh yeah, Teresa says she commented on a post about that, and it's just been interesting to see how things are progressing. And honestly, the governor can say whatever he wants, but when the people start praying and things start changing, and then a man wants to come in and say, nope, I did that, that sounds like dangerous territory to me.
Sounds like, honestly, it reminds me of like the Titanic. They said not even God can sink it, and what happened? It sunk.
One maiden voyage.
So don't ever take away God's credit. You're treading on dangerous territory there.
All right, where are we today for our scripture for soap?
Matthew 6:33.
6:33. So you guys, if you want to turn there at home, you can. So we're going to jump into our soap episode. And then, this is it, right? We're going to wrap up with this, I think, after this. No.
This is going to be short.
Yeah, I warned them it would be a short. It's not that short. It's already like who knows what o'clock.
Well.
Yeah, see, we're right on track to be exactly what I said, about 45 minutes. All right. Go ahead. Which translation do you want to use tonight?
I think I want to use the ESV.
So normally I have an ESV Bible, and he has a Passion. And on Easter, he got me a Passion as well. And because I wasn't going to bring it. I was going to bring my ESV because we were doing Esther, and this doesn't have anything about Esther in it.
I know.
But when I was
that's
like, you know what?
That's the one thing. It doesn't have a whole lot of the Old Testament yet, but they are working on it.
Yeah, and so when we decided, like, hey, let's push it a week, or not even a week, just a couple days to Monday, let's make the format change, let's push it, so all that kind of stuff. And then when I said, hey, pick a verse, and you picked Matthew, I was like, well, I can use this Bible now. So
hey.
Matt Nasby is watching. I would love to know what he thinks about the...
oh, no. I will read the Passion Bible even if you all tell me that. I just love it. It's so good. It really does pull out the passion of the verse. And I know what I've read New King James most of my life, so I know what it says, and I read this thinking about what it actually says, and it helps me to. Well,
let's not go into too much of that because
I'm not going into too much.
Spent like 30 minutes talking about that last week, so you can go back and watch the episode. And then actually, I got some messages afterwards asking about translations, so I did promise that we will eventually do a video, or I guess in this case, an episode about different translations. So we will do that eventually, but for not today. You can go back to last week's episode, or you can hold your breath for our future episode. So, all right, go ahead and read. It's Matthew 6, what?
33.
I'm not there. I'm there. Okay, you can go.
You're there. Okay. So above all, constantly chase after the realm of God's kingdom and the righteousness that proceeds from him. Then all these less important things will be given to you abundantly.
Didn't I just use this verse on the MV Church
did.
Talk? Yeah, okay.
Yes,
I was like, not only is this familiar, but literally where the words are spaced on the page is really familiar. I think I just did this.
I'm winning him over. He's already becoming familiar with the verses in this.
Because I just used it like 3 days ago or 4 days ago. Where are my notes from that? I'm gonna just pull those up really quick. Okay, what do you have? What do you have for the? That's the scripture. What do you have for application? Observation. I always do that.
I'm going to say there's a lot that I observed from that scripture. I wrote down one particular thing, though, and that is that basically it's my choice. He says, for me to chase after the realm of God's kingdom, and it's my choice. It's up to me. If I want God, his kingdom and its righteousness, it's my choice.
Okay.
And I choose that I want to pursue him. And then he says that all these other, I love the way this says, less important things will be given to you abundantly. So it's like a lot of times we're seeking after these other things, and God is saying, seek after me. And I just love that because, too, I think ultimately God is the one who satisfies us. And he is saying, I will give you all these other things if you seek me first. But we know that he's the one that's going to fill us and the one that's going to make us satisfied. And we won't even desire those other things as much when we're filled up with him.
Well, it's like that song. I never liked this song particularly, but it's like that song, There's a God-Shaped Hole in All of Us.
I do like that song.
I didn't. I knew you would because we have opposite taste in music.
No, you were the one that told me recently about Plum. And you're like, do you know Plum? I'm like, I love Plum.
That was Plum? I thought that was like Rebecca St. James
or
something.
Plum.
Well,
back in 90-something.
Okay, well, I did, I don't know about now, but back in the day, that all came up because of worship songs. So the thing I kind of observed with this is, and I didn't pre-prepare mine, I was trying to figure out how to get this camera to work. So Jonathan did all the studying tonight, and I did the technical stuff. So there we go, teamwork, right? But the thing, even just reading it now, without going back into my MV Church Talk stuff, I really see two things that stand out. One is like the clear priority of this is more important than this. Like, put them in perspective, right? And it kind of talks about that. And you kind of hit on that. So the other thing is it says chase.
I love that word in this translation, chase. I love that.
Because that's specific. Okay, if there's, it makes me think of as a kid in the middle of summer when there's an ice cream truck and you hear it and you go to ask for money and your parents are like, no. And you're like, but please. And they're like, well, I don't have any. Go ask your dad. And you go and right, you have to go through all and you finally get some money. And it takes you forever. So the ice cream truck has already come. Your friends have gotten ice cream and it's starting to leave now. And you're like, I have my money. You have to run after the ice cream truck to track it down. Because if you just walk out there casually, the ice cream truck is gone and you missed it. So you have to, and you're like, it's summer. Now, I grew up in California, so it's hot. The road is hot, and so you'd beeline after it. You'd tear up your feet running down the hot road. You'd stop them, and then of course they want to sell. So you just wait, and they stop, and then you get there, and then the sidewalk is burning. So then you have to step in someone's yard because you're barefoot. Because again, you just went tearing after this thing, and you're like, I want a so and so. You're like, oh, can I get your feet in this? There's a lot of passion in that, right? You're like, I want this, and as a kid, you're tracking it down. That's very different than I'm in the grocery store. Let me walk by and let me see the ice cream that's on there. No, my favorite brand's not on sale. I take it or leave it. Those are two very different things, right? And so the way we treat our faith should be more of that kid, picking up rocks and throwing at the truck to get his attention. I will not say if I did that or not. Versus, no, I can't. Okay, I'll say.
Can we do this instead of an intern Jeff? I want to hear the story
young Jared
of when you threw rocks at an ice cream.
Well, I did throw a lot of rocks, and almost every time I got in trouble. But I don't think I ever threw them in an ice cream truck because then the guy would stop and then be mad, and I want my ice cream. Right. So there's a big difference between those two, and that's what made me think of it. It says to chase, and it doesn't say casually pursue. If it's available, pick it up. It doesn't say any of those things, right? It says chase, and so it makes me think of that idea of that kid desperately wanting to catch the ice cream truck because it took him longer to get the money. There's a little insight into my childhood. My parents weren't big fans of the ice cream truck. They thought it was too expensive. So.
Yeah, it is. But it
was the experience. It was awesome.
Really. And there's just one thing, I won't take time on this, but I do love that it starts out with, it says in this translation, so above all. Yeah. It's this is the top priority above everything else, is that you constantly, and also that it says constantly. It's this isn't a one-time, hey, I want God, you pray, and then it's over. This is a constant choice that you have to make continually, that I'm going to seek God first.
It's not I prayed that prayer as a kid. We had an evangelist come in or in kids' church or whatever. I prayed that prayer, I'm a Christian, I'm good, and now I'm just kind of living my life. And yeah, it's a constantly thing. That's why the Bible says pick up your cross daily. There's a lot of other verses that say things like that. So, okay, what do we have for What's next? Application.
I basically reworded the verse because it tells you exactly what to do, exactly how to apply it. But I also was thinking about the fact that I read this verse thinking about all my desires. I go, like, all these other things will be given to me abundantly. Well, what are the things that I'm seeking after that I need to put God before? So I did write, despite all my desires, take them to God in prayer and chase after him. Seek his kingdom and righteousness first, and watch him fulfill every desire of your heart.
That's awesome. I have a practical example of that. So rather than just saying, I'm just going to give an example that I thought of when you said that. So when I first got into youth ministry wasn't my first ministry. I mean, it was in the fact of, like, I was on leadership in youth, and then I was a volunteer leader, and then all that kind of stuff. But, like, before I was a youth pastor, I was the media minister at my church because I was in film school, and my pastor, like, our guy, we had we didn't have, like, the internet the way it is now. We didn't have YouTube and stuff like that. So we would record our services, and then we would put them on public access, and it would, like, play. So anyone in our area, in our entire Merced County, could tune in to whatever the station was at whatever time, and they could watch it. So, like, our pastor would be at the grocery store, and people were like, hey, I've seen you on TV. And so the guy who did it, he stepped down or moved away from the church or something like that, and I started doing it. Well, the pastor asked me, and I was, and so I started doing it. I took it over, and I turned it into this big whole thing that, like, from just this one guy who just kind of did it, and then, like, I turned it, like, we got equipment, and we turned it into this whole big production, and it would, like, up the quality, and started doing other kinds of stuff and all kinds of stuff. And so, like, for me, like, the video stuff was, like, a huge thing. It was, like, how I identified myself as a video guy. And then I got into youth ministry, but I was really still holding on to the video thing. And at one point I felt like God said, you need to lay that down. And it was hard because, like, if I had to choose, I would have picked the video stuff at the time over the youth ministry stuff. But God was calling me this way and said, you need to lay that down. Will you give that to me? Will you give this video stuff? And I said yes. And I laid it down and I walked away from it. Actually, now I think about it, you have a very similar story.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, we talked about this in a podcast. We both had those media beginnings where we were, like, chasing it, and it was so fulfilling, and both had that.
But then we
like,
started, right? That became almost like a mini idol,
identity,
and it became how we identified ourselves. And so God said to give it up, and I did, and I walked away from it. And so there was a several period gap. In fact, it's funny because for those of you who do video stuff, like, I missed, like, the whole beginning of, like, the DSLR thing, because I went from like, I was still using, like, cameras, and right when they started coming out, like, the HD stuff, and DSLRs got really popular, all my friends starting in DSLRs, and, like, I didn't. And so it was like, you're the big video guy, like, why don't you? And it's like, well, I'm kind of just not doing, and it was just something I had to walk away from for a while. And
that's the thing too. It's like, I'm not trying to interrupt you, I'm sorry, but it's like you have that part of you is, like, trying to hold on to whatever you can while still giving it, and you get to that point, you're like, I'm holding on to this as much as I can. Like, I'm trying to hold on to it without totally letting it go. So you get to that point, you're just like, if I'm going to obey God, I'm going to give it. I have to totally give it up and walk 100 miles in the other direction.
Yeah, and that's what I did. And for a while, I didn't really do anything. And then I started just bringing some back in for some youth stuff. Jeff and I did a bunch of stuff there in Paradise with the shows and stuff. But then again, I had to walk away from it again, and it was something where, like, my last church for 4 years, I did some stuff. I started the vlog and all that, but I never really got to do it as a big part of my ministry. It was always like a side thing, and I've always just kind of like, okay, I walked away from it. I turned it over. I've got to do a little bit of stuff here and there, but it's never really been a thing. And then now, largely because of the whole COVID-19 thing, I'm doing a ton of it now. Like, it's been a thing to where it's like, we're doing a ton of content. Like, if you watch Sundays, we're streaming services, and it's like, oh, how are we going to do this? It's like, well, I have this huge background in video stuff, and it's a lot of the content, like this stuff we're doing now, like a lot of the stuff we're doing, it's almost like God was like, okay, here, you can have this back now. And I love it, but the difference is it's different, right? So it's not like before when I did it where I identified that's where I got my self-worth from, that's where I got my, like, there's a difference now because I did turn it over to God, and now that God's given it back, one, it's so much better than before, and two, I'm able to enjoy it without it becoming everything.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And I think it's cool too when you think about, like, how God led you here, and I just think it's so cool. if you chase something like that, it will pull you in a certain direction. You get to a certain point where everyone's seeking after you because you're so good at what you do that you could literally take the wrong path for your life and go in the wrong direction. And if you obey God, he brings you somewhere, and then he goes, surprise, here you go. And you're like, wow, that's what you wanted the whole time. Like, those desires are given to us by God, but we have to seek him first.
Yeah, you have to seek him first.
And let him add those to us when the time is right.
And, okay, right there, time is right. You really can't force it because it was about a year. Well, I've been here for a half a year now, so it's weird. Time has been going by so fast.
I know. It's only been like 6 months.
But about a year, or I don't even know at this point now because I'm so used to like just getting here, but I've actually been here for at least a half a year now. But I felt like God was starting to tell me, actually I didn't start to feel it. It was at a youth camp. They asked me to do the promotional video for summer camp. And I was like, yeah, sure. So I went up there, and I was like part of the staff. I wasn't there like as a youth pastor. I was there and to do this video, and I had a ton of fun doing it. It was awesome. The video was awesome. I might even show it maybe next week or something. No, I won't show it but anyways, it was a lot of fun. This video was awesome, and let's just say that I won't say that. It was just say it was a really good video, and it got a lot of feedback and a lot of response. I absolutely, it was the best out of all 4 weeks. It was definitely the best. I wasn't going to say that, but I just said it. So So that at that thing, God really put on my heart, and now I loved it because I hadn't got to do a big project like that in a long time. It hadn't been, and I had multiple cameras. I had access to like their drivers, so I had the golf cart, so I could like they could drive me around, and I could do shots on the golf cart. I had access to like just about anything. I had GoPros. I had people who would help me go get shots. So like while I was there editing some stuff, I had a guy go and do the swimming thing, and I told him, hey, give me this specific shot, and he went to the pool for like an hour and a half and got a bunch of pool shots, and there was this whole thing, right? And it was awesome. And at that conference, at that summer camp, God basically said, like, I'm giving this back to you. Like, this, you're going to walk into this. So I kind of did what Joseph did, where I'm like, oh, that means now. And so I was like, I'm going to start vlogging again. I'm going to start everything. I'm going to start up all this stuff. And I went and talked to my pastor, and I was like, I want to start doing the media stuff. And it just never quite happened, and it never really clicked. And it was kind of like, well, what's going on? And then everything changed, and then we came here, and then I did stuff in the beginning, not a ton. Like, we were doing some stuff, but it was like still kind of a side thing. And now a lot of stuff has shifted, and we're doing a ton of video content. And even when things, like, we woke up tomorrow and everything was back to normal,
we'd still be doing
100%. We're still going to be doing this stuff. Yes, we'll still be doing this show. Eventually, our goal is to do this show. Well, we were doing the podcast every single day, 5 days a week. We want to get back to that, but this one takes more effort than doing the podcast. So we'll still be doing a lot of stuff. We'll be producing a ton of stuff for the youth in the church. And it's so much better. And you kind of felt the same way with your stuff, is you had to give up your stuff, and then now you're back into it. But rather than doing it on your own, you've talked about how, like, we get to do it together, and it's even more fun having someone to do it with, and we're able to do so much more. So it's really awesome. So we got way off on that.
I wanted to say hi to my aunt who's watching.
Okay.
Thanks for watching.
So, anyways, I get distracted by the comments, and I will check them really quick.
Comments are fun. They're awesome.
That's part of the whole, why we do live.
We love you guys commenting. It's
so that just leaves us with prayer. So why don't you close us in prayer?
I guess that was I was going to say, well, what's your application? But I guess that was
I had the example and that went to, So why don't you close us in prayer, and then we'll go through and we'll do some shout outs and say hi on stuff on the comments.
Absolutely. So am I reading my prayer, or?
Read it and then actually pray.
Okay. So this is what I wrote. I said, Jesus, help me to seek you first, and thank you for fulfilling every desire of my heart, but giving me you first. That's my, ultimate prayer is, God, I want you first. And all those other things will be added when the time is right.
Yeah.
So, I will pray. So, Jesus, just thank you for helping us to seek you first, your kingdom and your righteousness. Thank you that you know every desire of our heart. Thank you that you put those desires inside of us for a reason. You're the one that made us, and you know exactly what we were made for. Thank you for revealing that to us and helping us to wait on you for the time to be right. And just thank you for satisfying our soul with yourself, your kingdom and your righteousness, and fulfilling every desires of our hearts as well. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. All right, let's jump through these comments here. Just see who was here. So we have Maddie, of course, is watching because she's our super fan.
Yeah,
we actually have a few, and the church has a bunch. Have you seen how many like top fans or whatever?
I'm a
for
top
the church?
fan.
You are a top fan.
That makes me so happy that
There's
I'm
a
a
lot.
top fan of Mohawk Valley Church and Mohawk Valley students.
I don't even think I'm a top fan, but
you
I
don't
think
comment on your own stuff.
yeah, and I interact a lot as the church page, so
That's
my
true.
personal page. I do some, but not all the time. So I don't. A lot of my stuff doesn't count as, I guess, I don't know how they read it. So where I said hi to Rebecca. We had some of the Kids Squad jumped on to kind of, I think, probably to see themselves. So
Just to see
what's up again,
themselves,
Kids
that's
Squad?
all.
I hope they keep that name, and I hope that we're the ones that christen them the Kids Squad. That'd be cool.
Kids Squad? Yeah, it has a ring to it.
Yeah, it's
MB
cool.
Kids Squad. That sounds kind of nice.
Let's see, Teresa. I read a few of
Hi,
hers.
Teresa.
Oh, Pastor, I didn't see that one. Pastor was watching. Hey, Pastor.
Hi, Pastor Mike.
My aunt I said hi to. Oh, yeah, Tia. That's right. I was trying to remember. Tia is what we called her. Well, first it was Aunt Tina, but then after a while, yeah. So, anyways, that's a whole. Yeah, Kim has some good hot sauce. We talked about that. I can't wait for that challenge. Like, I actually want to cry. Like, I want it to be so hot. Like, I know, like,
You want me to
well,
cry.
I really
You want me to
I
cry.
really want you to cry. But I also like, I want it to be bad enough where like, I want us to like fail and have to come back later. Like, I want it to be a challenge because there was such a letdown. The
You
last
want me
one.
to fail?
Yes, but I want it to be hard enough that like I want to feel like I earned it. Like I don't feel like we beat the last one. I don't feel like we really earned
Those
it.
were all pretty mild, except for that last one, but that still wasn't that bad.
Maddie says she wants to come on, so yeah, we'll have plenty of time. 'Cause, doing this every week.
So what we're
for
doing
people
the
to jump
top
on.
3 memes, right?
Yeah, so we need someone specifically who thinks they can out meme Jonathan. And so you'll come on with 3 memes, and we'll do round by round, and I'll be the judge. But I'm going to be heavily swayed by the comments as well. So it's not just my opinion. I'm going to be heavily swayed by the comments. You guys can vote, and then I'll kind of interpret the comments and stuff, and we'll pick who's the best. And we'll do meme to meme. So you'll need to send them to me ahead of time. So if you want to do that, let me know, and I'll pick someone, and we'll get the memes in, and then Jonathan will have his. And then if you beat Jonathan, we'll send you a gift card. So we should have like 5 gift cards, and they can pick from that 5.
That'd be fun.
Like we
That'd
could
be
even have
fun.
them anytime we do a challenge. We could have like a little Rhett and Link style like board up, and the 5 little gift cards, and they can pick which gift. That'd be cool.
That would
I got
be
ideas
fun.
now.
That would be fun.
Let's see. Rachel, we said hi to, I think. So if not, hi Rachel. Hey, my grandma's watching. Hey, grandma.
And if we said hi, she deserves another shout out.
Yes, that's right. We talked about the set again. Set's kind of stolen. This won't be our normal set.
Well, we're building one though.
We are, yes. We're building a whole studio. Guys, we are 6 feet apart. It's an optical illusion. We just look closer.
Yes. Now we're really 6 feet.
Now, yeah, they're saying we should keep the set. So now I feel like we have to keep. Let's just take this right now. Let's just go. Before.
Yeah, ready? We'll be back in a minute.
We do have a black backdrop for our set, though. A lot of people are just calling us out for not being 6 feet apart. So now I feel like we're horrible people.
Besides, we have
Speaking of horrible
we've
people,
been doing this for so long that if either one of us has anything, the other has
yeah,
gotten
and we've
it
talked
by
about that in
now.
past episodes that we're, we're basically like coworkers who have to work together. That sounded like way less friendly than I meant it to be. I gotta tell you this. Speaking of
we're
horrible,
best friends.
Brandy got yelled at today in the grocery store at Walmart. She got yelled at.
I saw that on her.
Oh, she
post.
posted about it.
She posted about
Okay.
it on Facebook, and I told her that just means you have to change stores.
So you're always saying that. I'm gonna tell the story for those who didn't read her post. So she's at Walmart, and they've added the lines on the floor now.
Yep, they've added it everywhere.
And so she wasn't paying attention. It's her first time there since they did that, and so she's not paying attention. So she's going down a line, and there's a worker there, and there's this. I think she said it was an older gentleman, and he yells at her. He's like, "You're going the wrong way. Look, there's lines on the floor." And she's like, "What?" He's like, "There's lines on the floor. You're not going." And he just chews her out, and then goes on his merry way. And like the worker looks at her and kind of like, "Oh, guys, what's that guy's
So
problem?"
I did ask. I said, like, is there some things that we are enforcing? I'm like, are the lines on the floor being enforced? If I see somebody walking the wrong way, they're like, don't say anything. No. It's more for looks than anything else.
And that's how the things are. Like, they're not. Anyways, so then she says she hears he goes to the next aisle, yells at someone else.
Oh, man.
Yeah, yells at someone else, and they start cussing him out.
Oh, good.
Oh, good. Okay. I mean, I thought it, but I wasn't going to say it out loud, so I'm glad you did.
I'm just thinking, good for somebody standing up for him for being so mean to Brandy.
I mean, some people actually. Maybe he's worried about health, but most likely he just feels like he needs a sense of control. He gets cussed out, so she hears the next person openly just starts cussing the guy out, and then like walks off, and I just have this mental image of the guy just standing there like, what just happened? But I
had a gentleman say to me today. He goes, we're all wearing masks. He goes, back in the day we would have gotten arrested for this.
Yeah, I saw someone post when they said,
especially if we go up to the register with this.
I've been kicked out of a bank before. Well, I chose to leave.
Is this a young Jared story?
Yeah, I got pretty annoyed because they wouldn't let me. I walked in and they're like, "Oh, can you take off your hoodie?" Or like because I had like this, like, right? But I didn't have it like this. I wasn't like that, right? I had it. My hair was kind of messy.
Now that you do that, I can see why they would ask you to pull it.
But that's not how I was wearing it. Look, I had it like this. I had it like way back like this because my hair was like all crazy. And I was like, you know what? I need to go in the bank, but I don't. So I kind of just had it where like I'm like, okay, you can clearly like you can see my ears, you can see my face. Like, I'm not a threat, any facial recognition, because it's a security thing. So I'm literally just covering the back of my head, like, less than, like a Jewish man who was covering his head would be covering, like, or about the same anyways. And so I walk in, and they're like, you need to take off your hoodie. And I was like, oh, no, it's good. Like, and they're like, no, you can't. And I was like, look, it's not covering my face. Like, look, I'll look at the camera. Like, I'm clearly not trying. And they're like, you can't. I was like, fine, forget it. I left, and then I canceled my bank account. I switched banks. So I was pretty impulsive as young Jared. So
can you tell me what bank this was later?
It was Citibank. I'll say it.
Oh,
no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It wasn't Citibank. It was Mechanics Bank, I think. It's a California bank, probably.
I was going to say, never heard of it.
So yeah, Teresa commented that we need to pray for our governor, God to soften his heart. So that's always pray for our leadership.
Absolutely.
Whether you agree with them or not, always pray for our leadership.
Like, that's what I thought. My first thought when I read it is now I know how. Like, I feel like I know how to pray for him better because he's trying to take all the credit. So we do need to pray for him.
And then Pastor Susie's watching, or at least was. Hi, Pastor Susie. Teresa's talking about, we're talking about when we do our soap that they had a great devotion this week about putting God first.
That's awesome.
An old friend of mine, actually the guy who was the youth pastor before me in Virginia, Matthew Bolzar. So hey Matt. I've actually called Pastor Matt 2 or 3 times because this is the reason, because he was Pastor Matt. And I've called Pastor Matt, because you can see the easy, And then we have Matt Nasby. So that I was hanging out with Matt a lot before this all happened. So I've called Pastor Matt a lot. But it's okay because people call Mark Mike all the time. So Mark, our worship leader, people are calling him Mike all the time. So on Thursday, someone called him Mike. So I'm like, at this point, I don't think it matters.
Well, it's because think about Mark's Mike.
Yeah, I know. It gets confusing. So, my wife, Brandy's watching.
Hi,
babe.
Brandy.
Love you.
Sorry that happened to you in the grocery store today. And like I said,
I was so mad.
I'll make sure that never happens to you if you come see me.
I was like, who said something to my wife? And then she explained the whole situation. I'm like, well, at least the guy got it on the next aisle. So, but I wasn't going to say that until you said it first. So if you said it, I feel like it's safe for me to say it. Some people I don't recognize are watching, so that's cool. Maybe we have fans.
That is my aunt.
No, right there, Joseph.
Oh.
I don't recognize Joseph. And then I didn't see your aunt. Where's your aunt?
Right there.
Oh, okay.
See my last name in there?
Well, I do now, but your sister said it first. So, hi, Jonathan's aunt. Do you say aunt or aunt?
Well, funny
Because
story,
most people say
because
aunt.
she is from Massachusetts, my dad is, so we grew up saying aunt, and then we quickly realized that all the aunts on my mom's side of the family did not like being called aunt, so they asked us to please call them aunt, and so I'm used to it now, but from where my dad is from, it would have been Aunt Susie, so I do say aunt. I don't know if she has a preference.
Yeah,
Please
so
tell me if you do, Aunt Susie. If you would prefer me to call you Aunt Susie, I'll do that.
I've always said, I didn't even know aunt was a thing. I thought that was like what British people called their aunts.
No,
we always said aunt.
It's definitely a Massachusetts thing.
Well, it's actually, it's not just because even in Virginia,
Yeah.
it wasn't everyone, but a lot of people would say aunt, and I'd say aunt, and I got called out by some students once. They're like, why do you call her why do you say aunt? Like, they're not an insect, they're your aunt. And I'm just trying to like be clever.
Well, that's what I always said. I said ant sounds like an insect. It sounds so rude.
Well, and so again, and this has nothing to do with any of my aunts. So like, I did have an aunt watching this, and I'm not, I just said this just to be a smart aleck to my students.
Not her.
Yeah.
Right?
No, because then that narrows it down to just my other. Well, I guess I have a couple. I don't know how many
I
aunts I
thought you
have.
had 13. Oh, that was sisters.
Yeah, that was fake sisters. And so they're like, why do you call it like that? An ant's an insect. An aunt is a relative. And I go, well, because she bugs me, and that's like an ant, and like ants, and they're like, oh, that's clever, okay. And then the kid goes, yeah, I don't like my aunt either. I'm gonna start calling her aunt, or I don't like my aunt either. I'm gonna start calling her aunt instead of aunt. And I was like, okay, that was a joke. I'm not trying to start anything.
I always thought too that ant, it has like when you get the wrong answer, that's what they do.
Okay.
So it's just wrong. You don't say ant unless they want it. So.
Because there was a question, I know it was answered here, but we will address it. This is a microphone. So look, this is gonna sound really bad. Hold on. That is a microphone. It's called the Blue Snowball. No, it's not blue. It's black. It comes in several colors, but it is our snowball.
Silver. It comes in silver, gray,
Chrome.
and black, but
It's
it
chrome.
does not come in blue.
Comes in chrome.
It does not come in blue. Isn't
chrome.
that weird?
Comes
It's
in chrome.
It does not come in blue. That's all.
Actually, that's not true.
Oh, it
there
does.
was a limited edition neon run of them. So there was like a blue, a green, like a pink or a purple or something like that. But
is neon blue even blue?
I don't know.
That's like green.
There was like a light, like powdery, like a snowy looking blue. So there was, but that was a very limited. I don't know what but yeah, it used to be black or white, and then I think when they first came out, they may have been white. But because I saw everyone had a white one, I went to order one, and I was like, oh, there's a black one. I got black, and now there's a chrome. I just ordered one for the church, and I was trying to get the white one. But they're all back ordered because everyone and their mother is trying to live stream
Right,
now.
and they
so
need
any kind of
microphones.
equipment, you can't find microphones, cameras are hard to find, like everything, like lights. We were trying to buy some lights for MV Church Talk, and like everything is back ordered. Anything that's good or decent is back ordered. It's insane. It makes sense, but that's Brandy said hi. I already said hi to her. Maddie misses church.
So do we.
Church misses
Maddie.
you.
We do so much.
We got a couple amens. I don't know what we said. Oh, and 2 praying hands. So we said something. Oh, and another amen. We said something good. Look at all those
we
amens.
said something good.
I don't know what it was, but
I
you
don't
guys
know if
liked
it was
something
you
we
or
said.
me.
I don't
Or
know.
both of us.
It was probably.
Our
both
stuff
of
was
those.
pretty good today.
Man, there's a lot. Yeah, your sister says she's a top fan. There are a lot of top fans. You guys are liking the camera, so yeah, I was kind of testing this out.
Wait, it looks like my aunt answered the question. Oh, she said either one. Okay, good to know.
Either one. Oh, okay.
She doesn't mind aunt or aunt. Because you worried me there. You're like, you brought that up, and I'm like, wait. My dad is from Massachusetts, so it technically could be either one.
She's fine with either one. That's good.
Okay, good to know.
And then something we said was crazy. I don't know. Oh, probably the thing about Brandy and getting all that. So, all right, guys, that's all we have for this week. So just to recap, we are standardizing because we're just so haphazard right now with these. They are going to be Monday nights at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Right? Yes. And then
We sure hope they're not Pacific Standard Time because that'll be me falling asleep. That's what that episode would be.
No, it would just be earlier if they were. Wait, you said Western? That would just be
If
earlier.
it was 10 Pacific,
still be-
then it would be 1 o'clock in the morning Eastern Standard Time. So that's
Oh,
why it
I thought
has
you
to
meant
be-
if we were doing. Okay, I
So
get
it has
I
to
get
be
it.
10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
I get it. I thought you were saying, okay, I did that the opposite way in my head. I was thinking that you were saying that we were going to do it earlier to be. I see
so
it
that's
now.
why you said 7 o'clock, because you're from California. When you started, you said 7 o'clock. That's why you said 7 instead of 10.
Maybe.
You're still stuck
Maybe.
in Pacific Standard Time there.
So, well, 10 o'clock. Don't feel pressured to join if it's too late, especially if you're younger. That's fine. My daughter's not watching these when we do them at 10 o'clock because we'll be re-airing them on the church channel, on the church YouTube and Facebook page live on Sundays at 6 p.m. So if you want to be a part of the the OG night crowd. You can do Monday nights at 10. And if you want to come on as a guest, you got to stay up because it's going to be like halfway through the episode that we're going to have you on. And then Sundays will be the actual premiere of these. So you can either be the live studio audience or you can join the rest of us. And we'll both be there on our phones.
If we can.
If
I can.
Yeah, if we can. We'll be there on our phones on Sunday at 6. Brandy as well, interacting, answering questions, saying hi to you guys.
Well, you know me. You know my track record is that I'll sneak out on my break and
He's like, all the time. He's like, oh, I wish I could watch. I'm going to be working. And I'm like, Jonathan, why are you on here? You're supposed to be working.
Because I'm like, oh, got to take my last break.
So, if you're a student, we want your help with the content. So I want you guys sending stuff in. That can be a song. It can be a skit. It can be any number of things. Some of the times we'll just ask you for stuff. Like for the Esther episode, I've asked some of you guys to read some stuff. We'll put stuff together. Just as that's a recap. So yes, this Monday at 10, we're going to go live with the Esther episode, which was originally going to be tonight, so we do apologize for that, is going to be the Esther episode. It's going to be awesome, and I think that's all we have to say, right?
Yeah. So I guess I was thinking since you're sending it to me to edit, we're probably could say, I don't know, I was going to say Sunday night because they're going to see the episode at Sunday at 6.
Mm-hmm.
And then if they didn't see it the previous Monday and they want to send something in, it's going to be too late. But we'll
be announcing on social as well the theme.
Yeah,
so
we'll figure it out.
This one, it's Esther. So if you've already sent something in, you're good.
And don't forget, email them to me, Jonathan at mohawkvalley.church. So that I can download them and edit them.
And get those pre-done and set up in the system.
If you don't sound good, I can tweak the sound
and
make you sound good.
We'll announce the episode, the week's episode after that. So, all right, that is all for tonight, guys. Anything else you want to say before we do our sign-off?
Thank you all for watching. It's been fun.
It's been fun. We'll see you guys on Monday. Be blessed.